Okay. Welcome to the Foundational Infrastructure Working Group of the 1st of July.
Nearly.
Whoa. TOC meeting.
I need to repeat again.
Wait, TOC, not Foundational Infrastructure Working Group. Sorry for that one. Force of habit. And it's a bit hot currently.
Oh
in
yeah.
the heat
Oh
wave.
yeah.
So that isn't helping. Yeah, let's look at the action items from last week. Something to do with check has project. Who was gonna do that? Was Bejan gonna do that?
Yeah, I copied it already over.
I see. Yeah, I don't know. He's not here, so we don't know.
Yeah.
And today we are gonna have an update from Marcela, the Services Management Working Group. The stage is yours, Marcela.
Oh, thank you, Ruben. How are you doing?
Yeah,
I guess it's a short update. The Service Management Working Group at this moment is only the cloud service broker. And we are not planning any new features at the moment. So it's mostly tackling any bugs or dependency updates, mostly. We got the message about the enforcing branch protection rules. So we are working on adding that configuration so we can keep the ones that we had that are more or less the same, just adding the ECCLA check and linear history things. And yeah, it's basically it. There's only one thing. We noticed today that we had a few feature requests that were like raised apparently by a bot or some user playing around with an API. The user was a number. I don't know if someone noticed that also, or if it's just for us and it was just someone experimenting, but in case raising it.
Was it in the Cloud Service Broker or
Yes.
Issue or pull request?
There were issues. We closed them because they didn't have any information in it. George closed it.
These?
Yeah.
It looks weird.
Yeah.
We have had things that looked AI generated, but not like there was a bit more to it than this. It looked more. It tried a bit more, but yeah, like it starts to be a bit spammy. And it's not. It's still manageable, but yeah, we have noticed things like this.
Okay.
So
we'll raise it again if we see something more concerning. But at the moment, where I don't know if it was 2 or 3 issues that were raised.
what's this? I can't see them. Weird. Okay. Let's keep an eye on it. Even linked to something. Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my update. We talked at some point about relocating the cloud service broker to another working group. I'm happy to do that, but also I'm okay with continuing keeping this space and being that I'm still working in the same project, so it's not an overhead for me really. So it's up to the TOC if we want to keep this working group or not, I guess.
Yeah, I would say that's more of a working group thing. Like I think the TOC doesn't have like a strong opinion on right, like consolidation or not. I think it's more of a if the overhead is too much for you, then you would raise it again.
For now it's manageable. It's fine.
Okay.
Cool.
Makes sense. Okay. Thanks for the short update. Then I think
no worries. Anytime. Yeah. If there are no questions,
otherwise you can go.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. There's PRs. I think this one, I saw an update from Stephan, something about how to test this, right? But you gave feedback, so let's wait for that. Yeah, I've seen this done before. It's not pretty. I think there's also acts. Yeah, this one. I've used this before. Something you can use to run GitHub Actions locally.
Okay, I see.
Doesn't always work, but yeah, can be useful.
Yeah, the alternative is just to test the single installation step with the download of YQ if that works, and then not YQ.
Yeah,
and assume that the rest, just by looking at it, that's it. And then in worst case, we fix it afterwards. That's also possible.
Yeah, true. Okay, but let's give it a bit more time. Was the blocker here, or something needed to be done? I think it has been done last week. So I think this one, this is TOC, right?
Archiving, yes, I think so.
This is not correct. Why is Amelia here?
I just put that in the private channel. I wasn't sure if there's automation or if it's manual, whoever makes the GitHub changes.
I think this is Stephan's thing, right? Like it works with a community TOC file somewhere that needs to be changed. Is it toc.md or something? This one. Isn't there also something in here?
What?
Yeah, this part needs to be changed.
Yeah, right. This needs to be changed. That's true.
So maybe someone can do some background coding and have a PR ready by the end of this meeting, so we can approve and merge it.
Okay, let's do it like this.
Okay, but yeah, I think that needs to happen.
Yeah, also that Greg gets the right to update.
Yeah, Greg needs the rights and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I will create a PR
one...
after this meeting and.
Okay, yeah, that's also possible. Maybe if one of the Chris's wants to do it as well, like, and we can have it at the end and merge it. Because this one we want to approve, right, and merge.
Yeah. Okay, I approve it. And
now we have a problem.
Yeah, we need one more +1. But maybe Chris can just write a +1 into a comment, and then I think we are good to go.
Yeah, because I cannot assign it to Chris Weibel.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to pull it up now.
It's okay. I should have put it in Zoom chat, but let me try to do that. Okay. Okay, that's that. And then there's a bunch of RFCs. Let's start with the in progress. I see why Bean took this day off. It's like 4 new ones. Like what?
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And then there's this one. Yeah, I think this was
It's-
updated, right?
Right, I updated it. It's
Yeah.
major rework. Yeah, it needs more time. That's all.
Yeah, I need to still look at it. I fixed the test.
Yeah, okay.
So this one could get approvals. Did we say we want to wait another week before merging to give people a bit more time?
Something we said last week. We didn't write it down.
Yeah.
So let's just do it like this and say.
Yeah, let's get
week.
approvals, but let's wait another week. Okay. Oh no, not status. We need all these. Okay. Yeah, this was an interesting one. I like the idea. Just wondering about the implications, and especially the how do you, say you have 50 apps that are all using the same CA certificate, and then you're updating it at once. Does that trigger 50 apps to restage at the same or restart at the same time or something? Could that cause issues? I don't think we have that problem. Currently, if there's a certificate rotation, it's all managed by Bosch, right? And you have Max in flight, and I don't think we have such a mechanism for Diego, right? Where the system all of a sudden triggers a recreate of a bunch of things that could cause instability.
I would say nothing gets triggered here automatically. It is like a rebinding of a new service, and all the orchestration has to be done. The restart of apps has to be done by the user. So service binding.
So you cannot update it. So what happens if you update it?
Even if you can update a user provided service, because user provided service are involved, and nothing happens. Only
nothing happens. So you then still, but then how do you know which version of the user provided service has been used by which app?
Yeah, because you let's say look at your hands, what they are doing on the keyboard, external orchestration. What you can do, you can SSH into the app and look then up the decap services.
Yeah, but I mean, this is about making it, one of the arguments for this is making it easier to rotate these types of certificates, right?
Yeah, today you have to do one certificate. That's how I understood it. I'm not deep into this topic, but I understood today one certificate per app. If you have several hundred apps,
so
you have a lot of fun. And in future, you have one certificate for 100 apps in your space.
But then you still need to, like you describe it now, then there's still the overhead of figuring out which apps need to be restarted and how to orchestrate that. Yeah,
that's the responsibility of the user. That's right. Or you do it.
Yeah, but I thought this was about making this a platform responsibility, right? And especially the org and space-based certificates, right? That makes it a higher level role. That's manages the certificate, and then how does it roll out, right? It should be described at least in the RFC. If it's out of scope, doing anything with automation there should probably also be called out explicitly, because at least to me this gives the impression that could be in scope, and then I would like to understand how it works.
So you almost want the dynamic application security group, so that those can actually you just make the one change and then everybody, all the running apps just inherit and run.
Yeah, that's what you would expect, but to make that happen is a bunch of restarts, and then you need to be able to not kill your system, right? If that happens, because it's a small operation, I'm just updating a certificate, right? But then there's quite a lot of implications if you do it fully automatically and restart 50 apps.
Makes sense, because otherwise you're not really gaining anything by moving this up in the org and space levels if you just have to go through each one of the apps and restart it anyway.
Yeah, like if there's still like manual automation involved, right? Like then you already have that, right? It's just calling a different API, and then you don't gain much from the sharing.
Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works.
It's our job to know. But yeah, I think there's room for discussion here, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I wrote something similar into the RFC because I also don't understand the procedure because that was just create user provided service. Well, nothing will happen.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Then I think we're in agreement that there's room for clarification. That means it needs to go to, I don't know, is it blocked? Is it to review?
I guess it's in progress, right? Discussion starts.
Yeah.
It's.
I think we're waiting for changes, to be honest. But let's see. Yeah, this seems straightforward enough. It's a clear use case. Yeah, just adding headers for header-based authentication for syslog drains. To me, it's pretty clear, but I think it's given it's from yesterday, probably we should wait another week for people to respond before starting the final comment period. Right?
Yeah. For instance, where is this validation logic supposed to be? That's for me unclear. It won't be the cloud controller, I would say, because it's part of the credentials of a service, and here cloud controller cannot have an opinion.
Yeah.
So it would then be somewhere in, hopefully, in the log aggregator stack.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe we should ask it. Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't yet on this one.
Another good idea. Wait, that's the same person.
Yes.
He's on a roll.
It's a very productive person.
he found the RFC process. Yeah, I'm assuming, like, I don't know if we need an RFC for this, to be honest, right? Like, this is just like, go build it and then donate it, right? Like, or do we want to? Yeah, I don't really understand. It's nice for asking for feedback on this, but like, are you also willing to go build this, right? Like, that's what's the expectation here, right? I mean, to be honest, we have had like a Go rewrite of the OpenStack CPI, and I think there we decided to, which is basically a new CPI, but it's in the existing repo, right? And so it is opt-in. And I think there we did something where we did do reviews of like the in-progress work, so that at least other people would have context on this, right? So if that's the expectation, I could see this work, right? So they would start with an empty repository and like start committing things through PRs into that repo, so that the rest of the working group has visibility.
I'm guessing
but
the
maybe
this here is also kind of showcasing that, hey, this is something that somebody's thinking about doing. And by bringing it up to the TOC level here, you're going to hopefully get it to a bigger group, maybe look for some folks that are willing to help with it and whatnot. So me personally, I don't have a problem with them putting this, can't talk. Let's try that again. I don't have a problem with them putting this in as an RFC. Just it isn't going to like automatically get funding or anything like that. Just because put it in here. That's my
so it's like an expectation management thing, right? Like RFC process is not something to it's to get technical consensus. It's not something about like prioritization or anything to do with that. But as long as that's clear, I think it's fine. Because I think the feedback they are getting is technical in nature, so that's good.
If we could also ask Pascal to maybe join the foundational infrastructure working group and talk about it and see. Because at least for the empty repo, he needs a little bit of support, right? If he would be willing to implement it. I don't know that. Could imagine, but I don't know it.
Yeah, and I imagine that Behan has a bit more context on this.
That might be.
We'll see. Yeah. Okay. So that's also in progress, and then we're gonna have stack handling. Yeah, it's also a big one actually. There's quite a lot to it. I think it could be split out into multiple PRs, RFCs, because I don't know. I don't like for open source stuff. I like it to be smaller scope so that you can decide to approve one thing and not another, right? Not have it all have to be, done in one big chunk. Feels like separate things that could be linked together, but it doesn't all have to be done at the same time.
I agree. There are different parts, and something is realistic. For instance, especially this with the 2 years. I mean, an RFC about a 2-year schedule, what would it take? At the end of the day, it's resources and commitments, and that's something that the TOC would not organize, right? And cannot.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so that one especially, and also the user provided ones I'm worried about, right? Providing your own stack. Like I think that's breaking a lot of the promises that that Cloud Foundry brings.
It brings you closer to Docker apps at the end of the day. It's the idea, I guess, why Florian has brought that in is there's always the last 0.5% of customers that don't go away from the old stack, and that hinders you to shut it off. And if you want to shut it off the hard way, then usually you need an option or an alternative to those customers, and user-provided stacks would be something that works out. Right? They can use the build packs, they can use the old stacks that they find somewhere, and they can reestablish their application.
Yeah, but basically you're saying security is not a thing we care about anymore at this point, right? Like that's basically what you're saying.
Because that is already done as soon as Docker apps are allowed.
Docker.
It's the not the responsible the security of the platform. That's something we have to ensure, but the security of the applications running on the platform is something you can't guarantee at all.
But like these are all discussions to be had. But yeah, I've asked the chatbots to generate a response, and then I also put some things in myself. I don't know. It felt like it could be split out into multiple things. But yeah, that's that one. it's all in progress. Nothing we can move forward right now. Onto RFC statuses. Wait, this is one is. This is all really old, right? Yes. Manifest v2.
Yeah, I'm not aware that somebody is working on it, so yeah, the idea is good, but somebody has to do it.
The system build packs. It's all merged.
Actually, we finished. I think there was one question open: how to integrate it into CF deployment. What's the functionality to upload such system build packs? I think it exists. They are not shipped automatically as part of CF deployment, but that's also okay.
So you're saying this is done? Oh wait, here, that's this one. No. RFC to add cloud native build packs to CF deployment. Wait, this is really old.
Yeah, that is, I think, the initial support to have cloud native build packs at all as user provided build packs, and now you can also upload them in parallel to the existing system build packs. So CF upload build pack and commands like that work also now for cloud native build packs.
Okay, add test for uploading system CMBs. So is this now being run in CF deployment?
It's, I guess, a cuts test, and then it is part of, also cuts is part of CF deployment working all of the
Yeah, but it depends on which suite is being used, right? Or not all tests are included or run in all.
Okay, whether they run. This is something I don't know.
Okay. Because if that's true, right, like then it's basically done.
We could ask it, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's basically the right at Johan. System, right?
Yep, implementation is done. It's basically a question whether we have a practical example, for instance, Concourse. So Open Service Broker API.
So we need to the next.
Yeah, Open
next
Service
step is
Broker
onboarding
API,
Concourse,
for instance, yeah, or any other organization that has a secondary org. But I think Concourse was a case we talked about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is in flight. There's many PRs on the Bosch side that are being reviewed. I think even on the BBS side and the Diego side already.
cloud controller will very soon have also an additional. Yeah, at least we have a bug. But yeah, I can add that here. Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, this is the biggest one, I believe, on the Bosch side. This is the director, and then there's a few the AWS CPI related stuff, agent stuff. But yeah, it's on their way.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no changes to this.
For the API v2 end of life, what is the or what are we holding on for that one?
It's just a timeline that's being given that was decided on in the RFC.
Okay.
So basically, what I plan to do, let's say closer to the CF day in Frankfurt, to talk again about it, and then come up with tickets for all community projects where I know there's still API v2 usage inside, just to make it aware and to to get a decision whether those projects are still needed or how they can continue. And otherwise, we wait basically until end of this year. And
did we already get that? We did the checkpoint approval thing, right? Already.
the checkpoint 1, where we said we remove v2 from a standard CF deployment, that is done. But now the question is checkpoint 2, to say now we also don't allow anymore to re-enable v2. That's the harder checkpoint.
Yeah.
So a little bit that was confusing with this because we've got 2026 mentioned as a year for some of the things, and then 2025 mentioned as some of the things. I don't know if that was just a typo or.
No, the phase 2 is the phase until when, let's say, customers and projects are supposed to remove v2 usage. Then comes the checkpoint, and after the checkpoint, we turn off.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wasn't missing something. Thank you.
And the exact time.
And then the work starts to remove it from Cappy,
Yeah,
right? Like
of course.
Then the code will be gone.
Yeah.
So this is the destructive part. That's gonna be irreversible. Or I mean, it's all Git, but still, after this, if you want to enable it, it's gonna be forking and like hard to maintain.
Yeah. But actually, after when we turn off it permanently, that means we remove an option from the copy release in Bosch, and then
yeah, I know
it's unrealistic to re-enable it anymore. Of course, in theory, yes, you can do a lot, but
yes. Yeah, basically this is to the outside world, and this is actually making it be gone. Marked completion of phase 1. What's phase 1? Probably it's in the RFC. Let's see. Problem, yes, stuff, phase 1. Okay, so now we're basically in a wait 2 years phase.
So y'all are working on these quick turnaround time projects. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's great. We check on it every week, and then we every week come to that same realization. It's great. It's a great system. Yeah. I think that's what blocked means. It means we're waiting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
only check directly after an election.
Yeah. that's basically it, right?
Yep, the PR should be in place to make the doc changes.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, we need to have a side conversation because I went through the easy CLA process, and we need to identify somebody in our org that's going to be the maintainer of that on our side.
Oh, you have not signed the ECCLA yet? Or as in, like, it's hard to get it through your org?
We have to find who in the org is left.
Yeah, great. It's such an arcane process within our org. It relies on being in, I believe, having a public membership on the CF of pivotal-cf GitHub org. It's like that org has stayed through like many the two acquisitions in between, right? We still rely on that name. Yeah, fun. Okay.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that's in this one that splitting hairs or whatever is whether or not Greg and yourself, Ruben, are still listed as VMware Broadcom, but like I said, splitting hairs. Otherwise, I also
VMware,
updated.
it's still a name. I think it's still like we're still VMware Tanzu by Broadcom.
All right.
Like I think a lot of people are still employed by VMware because the legal entities still exist. So I mean, yeah.
Not sure whether the term start is correct. I don't know what should be written there, but I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what it was because mine, timings just didn't seem to line up. That's why I just put today with being the first meeting, but.
Yeah, but term start for on my line at least is not 23, right?
That's
23
true.
is-
That's true. Yeah.
That's what I meant. I don't care about
Yeah.
today or tomorrow.
Yeah. No. Well, you were. Yeah. I guess we can figure out what. Probably change yours in there. Hang on 1 second. We'll just put it for today.
Also for
Yeah, because that's true. That the other one should probably be updated as well for
yeah. I think
last year.
Chris term also doesn't start in 27, which is 2 years ahead.
Oh, yep, yeah, no, that's a typo on my part. Thank you.
I'm happy to step aside for somebody else that wants to do it for 2 years until.
I mean, we got that feedback, right, about things not being announced and stuff. I mean, this is like really getting ahead of things, right? Like
Federal Election Commission would be happy to see this.
I just gotta look up what just last year's dates were, that's all. 1 second.
Now we're just having a little fun at McGowan's expense.
Yeah. So 2024 elections were posted June 20th, so 21st. That's good. All right, those should all be updated. All right, change pushed. Make sure it doesn't, easy CLA doesn't flip out again. No, it took it this time.
That sounds good.
Yeah, we were lax on updating last year's too, so I just did them all in one shot.
but term start is that? Oh yeah, that's because this is my the current term. that I'm together
Yep.
with Behan. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the key bit is the bit at the bottom that really matters for the automation standpoint, but yeah.
Yeah. Is that Greg? We know. Yeah, that seems like him.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, looks good to me.
Yeah, it took me a minute too. I was like, wait a minute, he actually got Greg? How long has he been on? Oh no, wait, he traversed the 2 letters.
He's got that same ID on Slack and all other places. When he usually gives a talk, I end up introducing him as Gerg instead of Greg, oftentimes on stage.
Now we need to wait for, or I mean, maybe Chris Weibel, you can just do the same thing you did with the other one.
One last +1.
Comments button and send.
There we go.
Good.
All right.
Because
Well, the
now
automation.
the automation works.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's now official. Maybe within 4 hours or something.
8 hours.
8 hours.
Whatever it runs. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for attending, and see you all next week.
About that, so you've got one of 2 Tuesdays that I won't be able to make it over the next year. Is next week.
Wow, you can look that far
I know.
ahead. Well,
About
we
that
know
time.
it's only going to be 2. That's great. Okay.
All right.
Thanks for letting us know.
See you.
Take
Just
care. Bye.
a last minute addition. Sorry, we've got a great response for the call for papers for Cloud Foundry Day Europe. We ended up with 52 talks, out of which I eliminated about 4 for being definitely AI generated. But we sure have enough talks for like a full agenda. So thanks a lot, TOC, for helping spread the word and gather a lot of talks.
So what I'm hearing is maybe a 2-day, almost like a
No.
Gonna be a summit.
We've done like 2 days or 2 times for a while now, so I don't think that will be the case. But I think enough for like a full day at Cloud Foundry and a lot of talks as online streams or something like that throughout the year, sprinkled throughout the rest of the year.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah,
sounds
the PC is busy at work. They start reviewing proposals, and I think a week or 10 days from now, we'll have the agenda live on the website. So.
That's good to hear. I'm glad those are picking up. All right, folks. Happy Tuesday.
Thanks so much.